Yo, welcome to this training. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. This is the law of attraction, explaining everything you need to be able to tap into your desired reality and make your thought space in such a way that it attracts to you everything that you want. That is the law of attraction. This is a guide to manifesting correctly so you can stop asking and start becoming. Think and Grow Rich Principles. This is an amazing book, Think and Grow Rich. I've read this like twice now, I think. And I would just highly recommend reading this book. So let's start off. 5 principles from Think and Grow Rich. A desire, number 1, a desire only becomes a result once it is backed by a clear, specific, burning intention. Vague wishing produces vague or no results. So you need specificity with your goals. When you desire something, when you desire a lifestyle, you have this like mental image of freedom in your mind, it has to be very clear and very specific. If that's a personal goal, an income goal, a physical goal, a mental goal, or a relationship goal, these all have to be extremely specific. You have to be able to close your eyes and literally mentally picture and visualize the thing that you want, right? If it's vague, then it's going to produce vague or no results. Number 2, your dominant thoughts repeated with emotion are what your mind starts working toward, whether you intend that or not. Faith and belief are passive feelings. They are something you can deliberately build through repetition like a muscle. Whatever you can vividly conceive and genuinely believe, you become capable of moving towards. It all starts with your imagination. It all starts with your thoughts, with literally just like, can you imagine and picture and visualize your goal? That's so important. Now, the way the law of attraction works is like, whatever you're thinking about is the life you're going to live. Your life is headed in the direction of your strongest thought. So if you're thinking about how do I not fail, right? You're thinking in the negative. This is what most people do. They think of, how do I stop being broke? How do I stop being out of shape? How do I not be a failure? How do I not be this? And they're always thinking in the negative. And if you're thinking about how you can avoid failure, you're still thinking about failure, and that's the life that you're going to manifest. So instead, you just need to think about what you want. Never think, never speak, never just never think about what you don't want. That's a rule of thumb. Number 5, most people don't fail to manifest what they want. They just fail to define it clearly enough to give their mind a target. Now, your mind is such a powerful machine. It is a target. Like, it just like finds targets and it achieves them. So when you give yourself very, very specific goals, you know exactly, like, you know how it feels, you know how it looks, you know, like how it just like anything. You just know so much and every single detail about the life that you know you want to live. That is essentially Think and Grow Rich talks all about, you know, that like the desire that you need to have to get to where you want to be. So you can actually attract the life that you want. And the life that you want is a reflection of the person that you are. And we're going to be talking about that. So manifesting, it's not some like mystical science. It is just like the law of attraction. And the law of attraction is just the mechanics of your thoughts, essentially. Manifesting can be defined and described by the following things. So the dominant feeling you broadcast most days on repeat. That is one thing. The way you feel most frequently, that is your frequency. And that's what manifests the correlating things. Your internal frequency creates your external reality. Your internal state creates your external reality. Just write that down. Make sure that's like something on the front of your mind because that's so important. And another thing that defines manifesting is not what you say you want, but what you actually subconsciously believe you deserve. Now, you could be saying like, I want to make more money, I want to achieve goals and like scale my business and get in better shape. But subconsciously, like somewhere deep behind your subconscious beliefs is the thought of I don't deserve it. Or like, if I make more money, I have more problems and I want to avoid that. And number 3 is the gap or the lack of gap between how you feel now and how you'd feel once you had it. So this is an energy gap. The gap between how you feel now and how you would feel once you have it, that is essentially manifesting. It is closing that gap between like what I feel now is not that different than how I'm going to feel when I achieve all the success. Now, identify 3 emotions that version of you would feel, like gratitude, peace, abundance, safety, and feel like those right now, and that's how you bridge the gap. So manifesting in another way is a mirror, not a vending machine. It reflects basically your internal state back at you. Your life is a mirror. If you're always thinking negative thoughts, you're always ungrateful, you're always like worried that things are not going to work out, and you just continually stick with this like mental energy, then what's going to happen, right, is that this is going to start to reflect itself in your reality. It's going to start to reflect itself with, you know, how you think, how you feel, your life as well. And all of these things have created your current reality, which is exactly why your life looks the way it currently does. The last thing is what I forgot: the compound result of your repeated thoughts, not a one-time wish. So manifesting is not just like for 1 hour every single like 3 months. You just sit down for an hour and you're like, yeah, I'm manifesting, I'm thinking and desiring those good things. But it's just repeated thoughts. Before I achieved any level of success, before I grew the YouTube channel, before I like did anything that I was proud of, like for a year, for 2 years, my mental state, my thoughts were like, I want to be successful, I want to make more money. And that was just the only thing that was in my mind. My thoughts were like, I want to get there, I want to get there, I want to get there. Not just once, not just for an hour, but for like 10 hours a day. I'm telling you, 10 hours a day for 2 years. You need to be thinking in alignment with your goal. That is the law of attraction, right? And all of these things have created your current reality, these 5 things here. And that's exactly why your life looks exactly the way it currently does. Now, your most dominant feeling is going to create the reality that you receive. Manifesting isn't about asking the universe for anything. It's about becoming internally a match for that thing. Ask yourself, with your goals, with everything you want to achieve, who do you have to become? Like that version of you. They're probably different than the version of you right now. But in terms of confidence, in terms of feeling, in terms of charisma, in terms of speaking ability, in terms of what you wear, how you feel, how you think, how does that version of you differ from who you are now? Think about that. And internally, right? How do you become a match for that thing, for that external reality? This is so important. And in practical terms, this is just feeling abundant before the money shows up, not after. You might be waiting for the paycheck or the opportunity or that 10K month that you've been dreaming about to make you feel abundant. But the truth is, you need to feel abundant before the money shows up, in order for the money to show up. You know, like, how are you going to get that if your internal frequency is not in alignment? And the version of you who makes that money is a person who's also abundant. These things go hand in hand. Second, feeling worthy of the relationship before it arrives, not as a reward for finally getting it. And then also feeling like the version of you who already has it. Not today, not once, like not in the future, but today. Not once this happens, once I get that thing, once I have this opportunity, once I move places. Right now, in the next 5 minutes, you could feel like the version of you who has the life that you want. It's just feeling. The only thing that's different is maybe a couple of digits in your bank account, or it's maybe the way you look in the mirror, or a couple of things like in external reality, but the feeling is what really governs everything. It governs action. It governs like your whole life. Feeling is one of the most powerful things. So to change what you receive, you have to change what you were dominantly feeling and believing, and you need to start now, not after the proof arrives. The proof will arrive once you have feeling first. So what actually shapes your manifesting? Now, there's 2 scenarios I also want to talk about later, but first of all, let's talk about the things that shape manifesting. Number 1, the specificity of what you're asking for. If you have a vague target, then you have a vague result. You need to ask for things, the things that you want, with a definiteness of purpose, in the sense that you have like in your mind, you know it's achievable. And also you need to know what you want to achieve. Not just make more, but how much do you want to make? When do you want to make it? Where do you want to move? How much does that cost to move into that apartment that you want? That dream watch that you have, how much is it? That dream life, what would be the expenses, the budget that you need? Having vague targets creates vague results. You need to be very specific. Number 2, the emotion behind the thought. Repetition without feeling doesn't move much. You need to not just think about the success you want, but also feel it. If you just mechanically think, it's not going to change your nervous system. Number 3, whether your daily actions match the identity of somebody who has it. If internally you're thinking, yeah, I want the goal, I want to be a successful businessman, entrepreneur, but your evidence, like there's no evidence that you're actually that person, then it's going to be hard for your brain, your subconscious, to believe you. Number 4, whether you actually believe you deserve it underneath all of the wanting, right? You want a different life, but do you actually believe you deserve it? You want more income, but you believe you deserve it. You want a better physique, but do you believe deep down that you deserve it? Now, what you focus on when things go quiet or slow, that is your real dominant frequency. When things are hard, what do you focus on? when the month is slow, when the business is plateaued, when you're not seeing results, what do you feel most frequently? Now, why this actually matters is because you can't out-affirm a belief you don't actually hold. The mismatch between what you say and what you believe is where manifesting breaks down for most people. You don't manifest what you want, you manifest who you believe you are deep down. So, what this looks like is if you're asking for abundance, you're asking for just freedom, having more, while your underlying feeling is scarcity and doubt, you are conflicting your subconscious. Like your heart and your mind are not in alignment. Your mind wants abundance, but your heart is feeling scarcity. And this misalignment is also what keeps you from getting to where you want to be. And as a result, you will keep attracting more evidence for scarcity, doubt, because that's the frequency actually being broadcasted, not the words on top of it. So you can say the affirmations every single morning. You can affirm as much as you like. But if you don't change the feeling or the belief beneath those things, underneath everything, and you haven't shifted those, then you're decorating the same internal state instead of changing it. And this is where identity comes back in. And this is where like you're just going to keep getting the same thing, the same success, living the same life. So manifesting is an identity practice. It's not a wishing practice. People think that to manifest, you need to pray and wish, please, God, give me this thing. Please, I want this thing. Please, I wish I could have this. I wish I could have more abundance and more resources. But stop asking to receive it. Start practicing already having it. You need to be a source of everything you want. If you want more money, you need to show the universe that you already have it by being a source of it. Tip at the restaurant. Give a tip. It doesn't have to be much, but it's just a source of giving. Somebody in need, provide them. Help somebody in some type of way financially, and you will see more of that financial return. Important question to ask yourself. If you already had the thing you're trying to manifest, if you had that dream life, how would you feel today? We talked about the 3 feelings. What are those 3 feelings that you would feel today? And also a big question, can you access that feeling right now without waiting for proof or evidence? Manifesting isn't magic and it's not passive. It is the practice of deliberately feeling, thinking, and acting like the version of you who already has what you want until your internal state and your external reality match. Keep this in mind. One thing to take away from this video: your internal state creates your external frequency. Your internal state creates your external reality. Let that sink in. 2 scenarios here. Scenario number 1, a person writes affirmations every morning, but they spend the rest of the day complaining about their situation. They say, I'm so grateful for my abundance. But then they check their bank account with this feeling of scarcity, dread, and lack. They want the confident, successful version of themselves to show up only once things get better. And also they treat manifesting like a vending machine, like putting in the wish and just waiting for the output. But manifesting is not passive, it is active. Manifesting starts with action. The law of attraction only applies if you're taking action towards the goals that you have and the things that you're asking for. Now, scenario 2, which is the opposite, is feeling grateful for what's already here, which makes more to be grateful for easier to notice and receive, which means that what you're grateful for now will mean that you will get more and you will receive more to be grateful for. And the second version acts right now, today, like the version of them who already has it. They set the standards, they do the habits, and they just move with this tone and energy in alignment with that version. And they don't wait for external proof to feel confident and secure. They build up the feeling first from within. They realize that they can control how they feel from within. And then externally, that is when they find the things that change in their life, But first of all, they change the feeling because they know that that's in their control. And then they change the external truth. So the last thing here is treating manifesting as an identity and frequency practice, not a one-time request. Manifesting is not like, oh, I want this, I want this, I want this. And then you go back to your old habits, you go back to your old identity and feeling scarce, feeling lack, and feeling doubtful and confused. Manifesting is an ongoing process. It is frequently practicing, tapping into the feelings associated with your desired outcome. The difference isn't luck, and it isn't that one of them wanted it more between these 2 people. It is that one of them changed their internal state first, and then they let the external reality catch up. And scenario 1 waited for the external reality to change their internal state. So first change your internal state, and then your external reality will follow. instead of waiting for the external things to change how you feel within. Now, the takeaway is you don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. Most frequently, underneath the words. Change the internal frequency first, the evidence follows, it doesn't lead. Now, I hope you enjoyed this training on the manifesting, on the law of attraction. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. Subscribe to the channel. I'll be posting videos like these every single week. I like posting these videos, and I'll see you in the next one. You got this.